there were different choices, but delegates have decided to select a particular choice. We must appreciate, comrade, as members of the ANC, something that is disappearing, that if society doesn't owe us anything, if society, as Owishindo, half the time, I'm talking to you as delegates, we think that it starts and ends with the ANC. Can't be. We owe that society quality of services that we promised. So we have a local government election and we did very badly. It's not because people all of a sudden hate the ANC, it's because we are not connecting with society. Tina bathunywa be-ANC sine arrogance. I-ego yethu twalisindlu, and the arrogance switches off all the people in society who believe in the ANC. The conference, Comrade Chair, I got the resolution, and I think it will have time to. How are we going to reconnect with society? If we give people quality service, we'll recover the lost trust. One was not saying with the trust deficit. Trust deficit. So we shortage about trust between us and society. That trust deficit is an outcome of arrogance in dealing with society. If you drive straight, you get a ticket, because you can only drive straight if you are drunk, because of the extent of potholes. So if you drive straight, it's traffic copy up music for the ticket, because you can't drive straight unless you are drunk. And how does society trust us in that kind of a situation? Society cannot trust us. So we must improve that. For example, after the 2021 elections, I thought every town and every city, ANC will take it in that thing. One of the first things we should do, we must fill these potholes. Doing a basic, and getting a man's, and getting electricity, and getting these basic needs. Potholes, the appearance of the town, the ANC, appearance by ANC, but it's the opposite. Now, corruption. All of us have accepted by corruption is spelling corruption. Corruption is a function of treating society with disdain. Chukuti society we katalelanga. Uba, you know, anything about Utelalin, Comrade Lamon, Liticum, Amabulu, I see. But Amabulu, back to budget yen. Ebe yen in the Abe 2%. Whether anyway allocation you kabeza. Tina siba ingabi kwindlela ne budget iphela. Now, that is disdain esithetha ngayo isociety. Amakomrades amathola zawenza ke naye ngapha eqhofa ndawo ntando kuya kuyo le. Wakwindlela apha igqityiwe ngoku. Eyahlala for minutes kuthiwa sisigqebhezana, kuthiwa sisikathula, because siyenze half asayigqiba. Xa izawuvulwa, Comrade Premier, xa izawuvulwa kwathiwa kwathathwa iPremier of the time neMinister zafakwa kwihelicopter zobekwa kwindawo ethile zafike bakhatha i-ribbon baphinda bemka ngehelicopter, uyabona. abayiboni manje ndlela ifiki apha ngapha ngento enziwanga kwenziwe esikhona khona bazomiswa basika irebhoni apha all the time awunakubona ikhona indlela apha funeka ke abantu basimathele boyijonga laa ndlela iye emadwaleni. That is the road I'm talking to. Now, in the Eastern Cape, comrade, the ANC is a governing party up. And this is a capacity we must protect. You know, if local government elections were national and provincial elections, we wouldn't be governing Gauteng now. By Gauteng, in the province, were governing by one majority. Not majority, one majority. We govern by one majority there. It tells us that we are in trouble. We are on our back foot. Our back is against the wall. Something must be done to actually correct that situation. Now, this province must protect the right to govern. I'm having a program of talking to all the kingdoms here. I visited 6 of the 7, all of them. Now, I'm having one left, and I can explain why it is left. It's because even a bereavement twice. Now, you can't have a meeting of significance. Komkhulu kubhujiwe kungekahlanjwa sibheki andiniyazi mhlolo. Uba ngaba uyaqhuba nje wenza meeting kodwa azikahlanjwa ibheki funeka uyazi ikhona problem. Now, and I will undertake that visit yala kumkanishekleyo ndiyicele ukuthi sifuna ukubuya. What is it, Comrade Chairperson, that we are doing there? First thing, let me make this note. All these visits, very few ANC people are represented. Very few. Now, if we are in a kingdom, ANC ingabikho, it means their principles is liberal. The first principle is that we're a leader of society. Uba si leader of society, kodwa akudityaniswe abantu komkhulu asiyithina. Yephi society ilindile. Okwesibini, silibele a very important principle yokuthi ANC must be located among the people. Noba ngubani apho kudibena abantu khona iyenzi mayibe khona. Now, uba ayi-ANC kunzima. I can tell you, Comrade Chairperson, ukuthi at least in the OR Tambo region, in 3 kingdoms, the ANC was represented. In other regions, there was no ANC. There was no ANC, except one person, Now, uba kunjalo, comrade, ANC is what it should rebuild. Uguti, it is a leader of society. It must be rooted among the people. And that means any kind of meeting in society, ANC must be there in ANC colors. Don't hide it. Now, and this is about a very important issue. They are about providing society with information regarding i-seismic surveys ezibesenzelwandle zasitotshwa icourt. Now, why is it important? Because Eastern Cape has a lot of potential to be a gas complex head office. And that project is linked to the LNG that we're developing in Nelson Mandela, LPG project, and those projects must connect. Now, because the development of this province, comrade, is urgent. In July, one of the things I revealed riot and its members was that we have not tampered with the apartheid architecture of the economy. 50% of the GDP of the country is in 2 provinces. It means that architecture, the apartheid of the 3 legs, Gauteng, Natal, Western Cape, we have not tampered with that. It is a serious indictment against the ANC. Therefore, initiatives in the province to develop the province must be taken serious. Yesterday, we were in Limpopo. We gave them the same message. We're launching a dump truck there that is not using fuel, but it is using hydrogen cells to move. And we said it creates an opportunity for us to develop a particular version of the economy in Limpopo. We will be drilling for petrol, for oil, in the Northern Cape before the end of the year. It is tampering with that architecture. And I'm appealing to you, comrade. The gas development in the Eastern Cape require your support. So, this talk to you, comrade, that if we don't develop this province and grow it quickly, we will not reduce the risk in the economy. It means we can be disrupted in 2 provinces and collapse the economy. Now, and this talk to delegates in this conference. These delegates cannot fight to death on the basis of elections. Let me repeat this. You are all delegates here. There's almost no ngoma saying about kujonga ecaleni kuzakwenzeka into enzima kakhulu yabona mos kujonga apha ecaleni kuzakwenzeka into enkulu kakhulu now if that is what we're here for, we're in a wrong meeting. We're crying in a wrong funeral. You can't have a conference that is focusing on elections. The conference must focus on policy discussions. You are lucky you are holding your conference after the policy papers for the policy conference have been released. That should be the preoccupation of the conference. So that Eastern Cape Kaifia Policy Conference and the National Conference leads in terms of development of the content of the policy. Now, but to focus on no cat. Whoever will say in the winning are celebrated, it's a hollow victory. Empty, 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 empty. Because it will mean that out of this conference, we'll have no program for that new leadership. We'll not know what we are expecting of that new leadership. Policies determine program for an elected leadership. So I'm appealing to you, let's spend our time on policies and the content of those policies. Now, out of this conference, comrade, we're going to need something to a courage. A courage, divine holiday, comrade chair. A courage is the management of and the truth over fear. That is courage. Brave. How brave, it doesn't mean that you're weak. But it means how so eager you triumph over that fear and continue doing things. And that is courage. We'll need that because it is this definition that defines bravery over cowardice. My conclusion is that fighting one another as if there's no tomorrow, as if we're enemies of one another, is actually self-destructive. You mislead yourself and think that if a faction wins, then there's victory. Self-deceit, when you feel in your head, if victory engekho. If victory is selection of the best team to lead the province. Irrespective of which faction they belong, if that comrade is good, we elect him. If the other comrade is good, we elect that comrade. We put a team, because we elect collectives, but we never ask a single question, Nansi le collective, individual members are le collectives, what attributes do they bring to the collective? That's true. The contribution in that team, what is the contribution I'm making in that team? Or am I just a fellow traveler? That's it. And in the way we go about with elections, we're going to have a big army of fellow travelers and very few people who carry the actual burden of leading the province. You see, when we're electing mayors, we started a process of interviewing candidates. No. ENC is starting a very painful process ekuthiwa meritocracy. Election and selection. In one exercise, you interview them, at least you check the qualification, you check the track record, you create the impression of elements that will make success are there. Meritocracy. You elect and select in one process. But I know it is very uncomfortable ngoba nisafuna a show of hands. Niketu meya ngokumthanda. Yabona? Now the problem yo mayors bakhetha ngokuthanda half the time sikhetha dwarfs. Now, as dwarfs sikhetha ngokuthanda. Go to run the processes in the municipality and employ other dwarfs. Then umasipala collapse. Singayazi lo masipala collapse kanjani. Singayi appreciate ukuthi isuka kula process yethu. Comrade. So, I'm appealing to you, comrade. Let's begin to take it serious, Uguti. Let's get a leadership at municipal level. Because the other leadership become municipal, sit for granted. In reality, Yogonyani comrade, Uguti, leadership is a pyramid. Top leadership of the organization is as good as branch leadership of the organization. Over quick gaps in between, that top leadership is going to falter. La pyramid here called the fewer top, more in the provinces, more in the regions, many in the branches. But nakube kuyahamon kweza levels the leadership. Uba ayikho la harmony in the levels of leadership, that leadership is going to collapse. Now, so ayikho ke faction as strong okune ANC, comrades. Even if faction ethanda mna, you see, that faction is never stronger than the ANC. The ANC is stronger song. This reflects the strength of the ANC. Can it divide you are weaker divided. Now, and that faction has a limited capacity to rebuild the ANC. To believe that winning over faction never winning is self-betrayal. You are betraying yourself. Ukholelwa kunto engekhoyo. Uyayijonga ukholelwe. But in real good, it does not exist. Awuzubana power on your own and to cut others out. Awuzubana power. Now, a strong and united ANC in the Eastern Cape Comrades will send a message that there is an opportunity and a chance to revive the African National Congress nationally. Uba niphuma kule conference nithe sa. Mega niyazi into yokuba even the slightest hope of renewing and rebuilding the ANC is going to disappear. Yabona mos, ndike ndiniva aba nizinike igama elibaluleke kakhulu uba niliphondo lengcwele. You are the province of the legends. Now, as legends, azikhula emithini, zikhula kwi-process ze-organization, zivele. I always have a question. Members of the NSS, ziyayazi the question yam. Xa kusithiwa equality ye-membership yethu weak, I always go back and ask the question. I do that in the NSS, I do that everywhere. The equality leadership injani? Because in membership, equality, baninzi abantu bezabo recruit, abanye sibarecruitela nje conference. What do we do kabefikile? Do we throw punches into that quantity to convert it into quality? Or siyayeka nje simasikhala ngento yoba le membership week. Naba befundisi uba ngama-method every Sunday bacula usiyakudumisa. Every Sunday without exception uvela besiculiswa uba wote sezulwini. Uba wote sezulwini kukufundiswa ukuthandaza. Fundiswa ukuthandaza about sezulwini. Awenza qho. Thina we recruit members, singazifundele ne-pledge. Then come back and say, le membership week is our week, asiyiceleli nge-ANC. Siyibhale ephepheni. We must go back and take them through. Yayibona ke i-OR Tambo School, Comrade Lamol. Very important. But you can't start grade 12, ungakakomenza grade 8. Kala grade 8, ufundiswe grade 8. Kwando kuthiwa sub 8. Uqala ku sub 8, ufundiswe liqanda elinomsila. No. Kala ufunde lona ba liqanda linomsila. Yabona? Xa sifunde lamsila sokufake rongo. Silungu ba haya ufakwa ngolu hlobo ujongiswe ezantsi ibe ngu-A. Asiyenzi le nto apha ku-ANC. But we come back together sizi-leadership sithi i-membership i-weak. Ayikho weak la membership. I-leadership ayiwenzi umsebenzi wayo. Leadership ke ayingoRamaphosa. I-leadership iqale ebranchini. Ukufike apha sicampaigna siyagcwala yonke indawo thina. Ufike kucampaigna i-council ayivani nebranch. Ikhethwe le council ngose ikhethiwe. I-council ineprogram yayo, i-branch neyayo iprogram. Now, so I'm raising this thing, Comrade ukuthi Choices that we make in this conference will determine the future of the province and the future of the ANC. You can still engage. In my own view is that if you don't talk to one another, you're not going to come up with a united conference. And take all of last week went down, the unions, and discover what lie employer with those unions don't talk to one another, they write letters to one another. Write letters to one another. For 2 months, was striking. And we had to call them and force them to sit in a room and talk to one another. So each choices that you make in this conference will determine the future of this province and the future of the ANC. You can make choices to throw the province into disarray. You can make choices to pull the province together. You may force factions to talk to one another. Okay? You may force them. Somebody will have to impose that. But Tetani. Okay. Now, leadership, comrades, and success are both a choice. I don't mistake. It's a choice. The most unfortunate part is that many leaders and veterans of the movement who are many of them display loss of hope. You know, an article you find every day where who predict the ANC is going to die. It's not the enemy that makes that prediction, it is us. I feel upset on the Shekla now. And many of us come to that conclusion because we dedicate all our time in developing a diagnosis of the problem. There's no effort to find solutions. And we limit our message to a negative one about ourselves. Uba we tell society, each journalist enjoy a lot. Uba would go to any journalist today, a good zima, a feel in school. And Gamma Salon up, busy corruption, Gamma Salon up, so what. Each journalist like that, they replicate that message and begin to write the obituary of the ANC. That must change, comrades. That's why we must be able to say, yeah, kunzima. Endaweni ethile kubuya imali engaka siyayilandelela ngolhlobo. Okay. Umuntu othile obenikwe responsibility uyityile imali yeorganization. Amapolisa sembophile. Ulamula semfakele NPA. Lo iya prosecute. Sijonge i-conviction yalamtu. You don't deal with corruption go shout. You deal with corruption ngobamba, prosecute and convict. Now, and that's noba lento ndibonwa ndim ndodwa veterans. I-right wing ne-fascists are emboldened. They are on the offensive. Right wing and fascists are on the offensive. All of them. Anybody offering attention must insult the ANC. And we article says he 10 alone because utade decision insult ANC. Umuntu appointed ANC to a board ya SABC. Udai yakula board lungisa land. I figured no. Apho kumazo chayela umchamo we-ANC. Lo muntu uthi i-message asiqala yona uthi I have no responsibility because yi-ANC echamilayo. Kodwa uappointwe lo uyabhatalwa every time ese-meeting in airport uyabhatalwa but akana responsibility because yi-ANC echamilayo. Anikwe coverage for 2 weeks ngaloo nto. Ngelo xesha lo mntu uthi anafiduciary duty as a board member. As he got a board member in Jan, go to Mandasha, but got a board members. We board member 80 and the phone in nuclear. Got a phone server, we board. They got them. With a white board, Jan, they don't my phone. Oh, they got it. I am. It was social curse. The nigga space to protest and resist nuclear. But I can't board the nuclear, NDT, God, Ucho public, but I phone in nuclear. Say phone at in nuclear. Sunia Kapanga Sepai, Chairperson. Sunia Nuclear Feather Panga Sepai, Siak, Benin's Qualabecon. Now, Sautini, Otia Umdo, my phone, you sit Magabe board. Eh? And Jogo Commentava. Them got at the same Kuluzaya Kulak. Resist Landokago Lupanga Pan. They resist and we board members plan now. Ubu you develop a counter strategy. I call it. Now, therefore, comrade, you know, Indo Koyongo, Ulusoka Indo deployment. By deployment, go to a catered development ANC. We are expected to forget few things. Ogoti, in 1994, every head of department in South Africa was a white male. Every head of department, every mayor was a white male. Every teacher was a white male. All of a sudden, we must forget that and say deployment is evil. Ukomrade senzo, ukhona apha namhlanje. Did a survey. Of months to about 65% abantu appointed to strategic positions qualify. It means we have 65% success with deployment. Now, because of the 35% a problem, we must neglect the policy. Go and 65% a symbol C. Symbol C. Very important symbol, very high symbol. Now, see no symbol C, with success in implementation deployment, Thomas Yek. Now, therefore we must build commitment on the positive and continue to rectify the negative. We build on the positive, we continue to rectify the negative. Now, we must never affirm, Ugoti, black means mediocrity. We must promote a black excellence. About excellent, who are doing well. Let's give them a chance to succeed and support them. Now, we're a movement of hope, comrades. We're a movement. We must reconnect with our people. We must apologize where it is necessary. But we must not retreat and fail to engage in the re-emerging and emboldened fascist movement. Yabona Masustenez and Usuka on the base of the Western Cape, about Ukraine. Africa, Akwele Pes Gwenda at Tuxel. And we must say thank you very much. Once the papers are released, let's read them, comrade. And now, all I can do now is to wish you a successful conference. Yabona again. Communia Gaban, Dadamabuyan. Dagadam Secretary General. Communia. The province Yako. Yes, we're caught 12 times. We 12 times. We defended the ANC 12 times. We succeeded 12 times. Now, you don't take that for granted. You invest time and energy in the defense of the movement. Okay? The conference, maybe in Pumelelo, Nimkapa Nivana, Nonge. Nipume, Nake, ANC, strong. Thank you very much.
Amanda!
Hello and welcome. This is the Week in Review with myself, Liesl Wilson. We're taking a look at some of the top stories making headlines this week, including the East